So, good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Tanisha Mitchell, and I am a member of the BRIC Committee. That's the Business Resource Information Center. And out of the many hats that I wear here, I'm on the committee, and we're creating content for our Business Resource and Information Center channel on YouTube and our social media platforms. So find your customer using library resources. The purpose of this is to show you that there are so many resources. If you are an entrepreneur and you're just getting started and you want to learn more, even if you are a business owner and you're in the middle of growing your business and you want to cast a wider net, the library has many resources that you can use for free. And if you have a library card, you can use these resources, or most of them, from home and in the library. If you don't have a library card, you can use these resources in the library anytime we are open. So, what is BRIC? BRIC is the Business Resource and Information Center. It started in 2013, and it is a vital hub for budding entrepreneurs and those who've already got their feet wet. And the Business Resource Information Center is located on the adult side in the upper wing, and it's near the reference desk. And I work out of that department, the Always Seek Knowledge or Ask department slash reference. And the brick room and also the brick collection is in that area. We have one-on-one business counseling with Pierre. It's on Thursdays. That's what we offer. It's on Thursdays, and you can sign up at the reference desk. We also have informative business programming. That's where you are right now. And there are even more programs that I will show you on the website where you can see the other programs that are happening. Print and digital resources, that's what we're going to look over tonight, as well as print resources. Those are the books in the area, and all of those are very vital. We are always updating the collection to make sure that it reflects the needs of business owners or budding business owners and entrepreneurs of the time. Free conference room, that is a biggie, because if you have a business and you want to meet with a client, or if you want to do an interview, etc., we do have the conference room where you can reserve it on the website on freeportlibrary.info. And of course, we will look at that later on. So, what is a business without a customer? You need a customer versus a client. You need to exchange your services or product for money. You need revenue to run a business. If you are not gaining any type of revenue and then a profit, it's not a business. It's a hobby. That's what they say. So, to the business side, there are different types of clients and customers, but there's a difference between a customer and a client. A customer engages in a transaction, and that customer can return and buy your product. One will hope they will return and buy your product. But if they don't, if you have a large amount of customers, it really wouldn't matter because you're selling a large bulk of what you're doing. A client, on the other hand, has a long-term relationship with you. They are seeking your services for a longer period of time, and you are solving a problem that that they continuously have, or something that needs to be solved within a certain amount of time. Sometimes it could be years, sometimes it could be months, sometimes it could be a few days in a month, if the client returns month after month. And you have to know the difference between what you're offering, because when you start to look for where you will find your customers, you're trying to look for who they are, You have to understand the difference of what you're offering. Do you want a long-term relationship or do you want a short-term relationship? Those are the things that will allow you to understand when you search for whoever you're searching, that what you're searching for makes sense to what you need as a business owner. So when you define your ideal customer, who is it? Your ideal customer is somebody that's going to use your services or buy your product. And there are different ways in analyzing this. We have your demographics, that's what dealing with people, dealing with where businesses are and who businesses serve, if you serve a business. We have psychographics. What are the aspirations of the ideal customer that you have? What do they want? One of the biggest things that I see on my feed would be what kind of makeup, because I love makeup. So, what kind of makeup is best for a certain time of day? And makeup can be used different types of days. But the thing about makeup is, what is it? Beauty. You want to feel beautiful when you put it on. You want to hide things when you put it on. So you have to understand the aspirations of your client. And when you understand the aspirations of your client, you're able to locate them even better. And what does your business uniquely solve for those who are in a certain demographic, who also are in a certain psychographic? And that's also those who make decisions for other, either other people or for a larger business. And we'll get into that. And that is a wonderful segue into your value proposition. What do you value? And what value are you offering? What key product, what services, and how do you articulate that? Because if you are offering makeup to a certain demographic, how are you offering that? And what are you saying? And then if you're selling makeup to a person versus selling it to a business, there may be two things that they're asking for. If you have, I'm just making this up, but it could be, let's say you have an idea for chapstick and you use a certain type of olive oil for your chapstick. Is that something that a person who's making a business decision for a makeup company, is that something that they will use? They may not want to use the olive oil. They may want another thing to be used. And that's very crucial. If you are offering a certain color of red, does that red look good on certain pigments? How do you sell that? And there are different entities that you sell to as an entrepreneur, and you have to understand, where does your value lie? Who are you selling to? B2B is business to business. It focuses on the type of industry, hence the industry codes and company size, and also the decision makers, as I said before. So, are you offering to a decision maker? Are you offering something to someone who makes the purchasing decisions? Who are you offering it to? And the model, it does go for more of a long-term relationship. So the higher the person is on the chain or the larger the business, the more long-term you would think it would be. Now, for business to customer, you're selling to a specific person, but that person can always come back. They could be a returning customer. And how do you sell to them? You prioritize with emotional engagement. Like I said, the idea of makeup is to make you look beautiful. People want to feel beautiful or they want to feel wanted, etc. And this makeup is going to allow them to do it. And so you have to understand who that customer is and how you're selling it to. A hybrid model would do both. So, for example, I love the example that they use here with catering. You can cater to a business or you can cater to a family. you can have that type of niche. And if that's good for you if you know how to balance the two and to sell to the two. So, Reference Solutions is one of our digital resources. I like to call them online resources that the library pays for to offer to you. And it has a lot of comprehensive business data based on the demographics, the buying habits of a certain demographic, where they are located, etc. And location, I didn't mention location before, but location is very, very important. And location is important because of the fact that if you're selling a shovel, you're not going to sell a shovel to someone who lives in Southern California if the shovel is specifically for snow. You're going to sell it to people who are in areas where it's more than likely to snow. And I know that there are other uses for shovels, but just to use that as an example, if you are selling something that's for a hot climate, I'm thinking about maybe a certain type of t-shirt. Someone in Southern California would wear that t-shirt longer than somebody who lives in New York because New York, we deal with the seasons as we are dealing with now. And so it all depends on what you're selling, and Reference Solutions has that. And we're going to look at Reference Solutions on the website. And you can use Reference Solutions effectively by searching the industry codes. If you want to do that, you don't have to do it that way. You can do a general simple search, a consumer insight search, a location like what we talked about, and also income. You can do that based on the individual person. And even the business, you could also look in into the revenue. And you can also expand your reach with Reference Solutions. And we are going to look at that when we exit out of here. And here we go. So when you go to freeportlibrary.info, I'm actually on the actual brick page. But what you're going to do is when you go to freeportlibrary.info, when you start here, in order to get to the business resource and information page, you're going to scroll down. And all of this, if you don't remember it, this will be on our YouTube channel. And also you can also call us when we are here if you need help. So you will go to the Business Resource Information Center. You will go here, and here is, if you've been to the library before, this is where we are located on the adult side. And this is the brick room. This is where we do the business counseling, as well as if you want to do book a room, this is the room that you will book. On the right-hand side of the page, it shows us the different programs. So you see here, the Brick Presents Find Your Customers using library resources. That's where you are now. And these are some upcoming programs, including the small business counseling that you could sign up for at the reference desk. If you scroll down further, you also see our YouTube channel. We are actually part of the larger library channel, but we do have a business resource and information center playlist. And then you have where you can reserve the room, and here are the business databases. So we are going to go in there and we're going to get into that. So the business databases, I like to call them online resources. So these online resources are paid by the library for you to serve you. And this is data that you would, if you were doing this yourself, you would have to pay for yourself. And it's not cheap. So these are for you to use. So we have Gale Business Entrepreneurship. I'm not going to go through all of them. Gale Business Insights. To go back to the entrepreneurship, it's an online source to understand finance, management, marketing, human resources, etc. and how to handle that and what other businesses are doing. And that's the same as in Gale Business Insights. The thing about Gale Business Insights, you learn about the competition or similar businesses that are like yours and what they do. You can research them and look at what they do and how they commit to their strategy or how they evolve with a different strategy. Gale eBooks is another source. It's more books that are digitized and they are online. And these books are not they're not readily available on the internet. They are available through us. Okay? And that's just to name a few. But we are here because of Reference Solutions. And if you have any questions about these, please feel free to ask us. We will definitely show you how to do it at the reference desk. So I'm going to go to Reference Solutions, which is at the bottom of the page. And as you see with Reference Solutions, you can access it from the library or from home. If you have a Freeport library card, you can access it from home using your library card number. That's how you will get in. And you only can use your library card number through the Access from Home button. If you are in the library, you can access it from the library. And there's also a tip. If you are signed in into the library's Wi-Fi, you have an easier access. You can easily get into it. If you don't sign into the library's Wi-Fi, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But those are the two ways. You can use Reference Solutions. Let's say you don't have a laptop with you. You can sign in on the computers downstairs and use it. Or if you want us to show you how to use it, we can show you for a time at the reference desk, and then you can use it on your own. So I'm going to go to Access from the library since we are in the library. And I'm just going to show you this. Now, I stress that you do not look this up on not YouTube, on Google and then try to get into it. It's not going to work. Always go through the library. And if you are not from Freeport and your library has it, go through your home library if you're not in the building, and you should be able to get in. If you're in the building, you can go through our website, okay? Now, Reference Solutions, I look at it as a huge white pages. If you remember I don't know if everybody would remember white pages, but white pages was the directory where you looked up people. And also Reference Solutions is also a huge yellow page. So yellow pages is where you looked up businesses, but it has so much information that one could not get through everything in one night, but I want you to look at how this works. So if you see here, there are so many things available. We have US businesses, we have Canadian businesses, healthcare, physicians and dentists. We have consumers and lifestyles. That's very crucial. New movers and homeowners. Now, that depends on the type of business you're offering. Let's say you are a gardening business and you want to know who just got into the neighborhood. You can use that portion of the database. We have historical businesses, new businesses. If you sell to new businesses, you can see who has come up in certain neighborhoods. You have the white pages, and this is dealing with residents, et cetera, et cetera. But what we're going to do today, we're going to pretend that we're going to do two businesses, okay? So I am going to go back here, and I had like a little game, but I said I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm just going to show you, I'm going to show you this slide here. And I had a little game where you had to figure out who is the customer. But in the interest of time, I'll just, we'll choose two customers. So one would be the industrial supplier. So like I used the example of the blender slash the food processor, and so you could use that. So you are an industrial supplier of mixers, so you serve bakeries. And then the Glamour Hub, because I love makeup, the Glamour Hub, you are the Glamour Hub. You sell makeup. So your demographic would be people who wear makeup of a certain demographic. So that's just to show you, this is an example. And then what I'm going to do, we're going to go back to our reference USA. So let's start with the bakeries. If you are a business and you serve a business, not individual people, you serve businesses, you would go here to US businesses. If you want to cast your net even wider, you can try Canadian businesses. But let's just look at US businesses. And let's say you serve bakeries, okay? And you serve bakeries on the East Coast, okay? You have this search here, and this limits you by the state, okay? This is by the legal name, etc. This is by the city, this is by the phone number. Okay. The other way of searching is advanced search. So if you go to advanced search, these are the filters that we're not going to look at right now. We're going to go back here. So the way I would start this is simple. I always say, as a librarian, we always say to start simple and then narrow it down, okay? So we are going to start with just a bakery, okay? I just put it in the company or legal name because it is the type. Now we said the East Coast. There's no way to really filter that yet. So we're going to first search and view results of bakeries, and let's see what happens. And as you see in your upper left-hand corner, there are over 22,000 bakeries. And what they do for you is they list it by the city and the state, okay? And another thing that they list is they list the zip code, some with the phone numbers, and all with the address. Now, if you have the manpower to put all of this together, you can, because you can download this list, and you can download the list. There's a certain number that you can download. I believe it's 100 that you can download in one sitting. You can do that. But we want to look at the East Coast. And right now, from what I'm seeing, that I believe is Arkansas, okay? And we're going to, if I look further up, I'm sure that it will be, the next state after that. So you could go to the charts, I would go to the map. And the heat map is very cool. Let's see what it does. So it's searching all of these records. It's over 22,000 bakeries in this database, and is plotting all of the resources. Now, through this shaded area on the right-hand side, the red means it's a high density area, and the blue means it's low density, and yellow is in between, okay? So what you could do is you can take and expand your map. And remember, I said I wanted the East Coast. And look here, okay? So if you want the East Coast, you can zoom to here if you want to, okay? And another way that you can look at the tally, you can tally by state. So you can do, and I see here they've increased it. It's 250 downloads and prints per search. So if you want to download the list, you can. But what it's doing is it tallies it by state. This is very, very helpful. And also you can see it on the map here. Okay. If you want to get further in to your area, you can do that. And the East Coast has many states. So you can either narrow down to a state if you want to, if you see here, or you can just look to see. Let's say you just want a general search. And you said, which states on the East Coast have a high concentration of bakeries? Where are they? Where's one that has a high concentration of bakeries according to this list? You see, obviously, New York City area, and I'm looking at the red color. New York City, we also are looking at Philadelphia. I see a little red in Washington, D.C., okay? And what it does is, as you get further into the map, it gives you each bakery and the sales volumes. And this is even helpful because you can look to see, let's say you want to sell to a bakery that is a huge bakery or does lots of sales. You can look at the sales volume and you can create your list accordingly. I think that is really cool. And you could continue, like right now I'm in North Carolina, that's where my family is. So I'm looking here. And if you want to know more information, you press the zoom in button. And the more you zoom in, the more you find. And then on your left-hand side, you see the volumes of what they sell. It's a very powerful tool. So now our next example, I'm going to go back to, and we're going to look at the Glamour Hub. So let's say we're going to switch from the industrial supplier to the Glamour Hub. You sell makeup, all kinds of makeup that I like, okay? You sell lipstick, it could be matte, it could be glossy. You sell lip gloss, foundation, um, primer, eyeshadow, everything, okay? And so you want to sell, and I'm going to just escape here. We're going to go back to our database here. You want to sell to people who are, and I'm just going to go back to the beginning. You want to sell to people who are between the ages of 25 and 45. Okay. And let's say you want to sell to women who are between the ages of 25 to 45. I'm just making up this demographic. So if you want to sell to women who are between the ages of 25 and 45, you would not look into the business database. Okay. We're going to go back to our home page. And you would look into consumers and lifestyles, okay? And what you would do is you're going to click on here because that's a lifestyle. Everybody doesn't wear makeup. The one that you want is between the age of 25 and 45. Okay. What you can do here, this is a general search. You don't know the people's names. So if you don't know their names, you do not have to put any names here. But let's say you want women between 25 and 45 in New York State. So we are going to first go to, you could click on New York State from the state here, okay? And you can go into the lifestyle category. So the lifestyle category, let's see if we can find it. Okay. So health, diet, fitness. Let's see. Books and magazine, fashion, beauty. All right. So it doesn't necessarily say makeup, but you see apparel, fashion, and beauty. So makeup falls in the beauty and even in the fashion side as well. You can look into purchase behavior, but for in the interest of time, we'll look into apparel, fashion, and beauty. And let's view the results. Okay. Well, let's see what they give us. So as I said, a rule of thumb that we say as librarians, you start from the general and you work your way down, okay? So we see here that there are quite a few people, but what we want to do is we want to minimize our search. So in order to do that, okay, you can do it many ways. You could go through a heat map, okay? Or like you look at it as the map that we saw before, or you can look into the charts, etc. But we want to filter this. So in order to filter, we are going to, let's see if we could go into, I'm going to revise the search and I'm going to go to the filter, okay? So the additional filter is very helpful because you can do it by the neighborhood, etc. And I'm trying to see here if you can do it. There we go. Here we go. This is where it gets really niche oriented. You can do it by age. You could do it by marital status, gender. You can also do it by gender and the type of worker that they are and the income. So we're going to remember we said we wanted a makeup person who wears makeup between the ages 25 and 45. We're going to go to the age, okay? And when you go to the age, you scroll up here and you can choose your age. So we're going to do 25 to 29, 30 to 34, 35 to 39, 40 to 45, okay? We also want to choose the gender, okay? And here they have it separated by male and female. We are going to choose female, okay? And what was the last thing that I said that we could do? Well, you could do female occupation, but we're not going to do that. We said women who are between the ages 25 and 45. So these are the fields. And now what you do is you're going to view results, okay? And this is the record count. So you have the option of exporting it to Excel or looking at it. And see, this is the thing. It's separated by the different groups of the ages. But if you want, let's see if you could, I'm trying to get it where you can look at it. Show summary. You can actually look at each one. We're going to go back to the search again, doing it. Another way of doing it is because that's showing you the number. The other way, we're going to start over again, is if you go into the consumers again, and we go into a general search of New York State. All right, let's start a little general. We're going to go to beauty again, and we're going to view the results. Okay, and sometimes from here, if you go to your heat map or your filters, okay, The map is only allowed on 500,000 results or less. So what we're going to do is, let's say I were to select, okay? And also there's legal grounds to this too. It says telephone numbers displayed may be on a do not call list and should not be used for solicitation. You are responsible for the compliance with all federal, state, and local laws. So just keep that in mind when you're doing it. This is for research purposes only. That is one way to refine your search and using it, okay? If you also look at the information of the individual, let's say you find somebody who loves beauty, etc. You can take one person and take a look at their profile, and maybe that is a profile of what you are searching for, and you can use that as a way to search for others based on this profile. So we're looking at it from a general level. If you're looking at it from the home income or the home value, you can do that as well. And then what you could do is you can export it into a sheet and use that for research purposes. And again, 250 downloads or prints would be allowed with the downloading part of this, okay? An action plan for your success. What are some plans? Use the brick space. You can look at our collection. What is big now is AI, artificial intelligence. We have plenty of books on artificial intelligence, and our online resources can also find peer-reviewed articles on artificial intelligence. So you can see what business leaders are talking about. How are business leaders using artificial intelligence? And this is beyond Chat GPT, everybody. We have more than that. You have Google Gemini, you have other things that I can't even name off the top of my head that business leaders are using. And we have the resources for you to use them, okay? Sign up for the one-on-one business counseling with Pierre, and he is excellent in listening to your idea and giving you steps in order to get the idea to where it works and get to a workable solution with a list of things that you can do. But if you have any questions, please, you can reach out to us, and I'm going to give you our contact here. It is at freeportlibrary.info/brick. We do have our contact there, but that's if you want to see what the upcoming classes are going to be. And also, you can reach out to us at brick@freeportlibrary.info or give us a call. It is all on our website, and we will gladly help you and assist you with any other of the brick services, okay? I just wanted to give you an overview of how to search and what to use. And if you have any further questions, you can reach out to me, Tanisha, through brick@freeportlibrary.info, or give me a call, and I will gladly help you with our online resources. Thank you very much. Take care.